Hey, what's going on? Welcome to episode 178 of Japan According to Akil. Thank you guys for rocking with me again. Sorry, my air conditioner might cut on in a second. If you don't hear it yet, you might hear it in a second. But I'm back for another great episode with you guys. I'm happy to be back. If you've been following me on any of the other platforms, you'll notice that I'm putting up a variety of content. I've been back at it for about a week now, and I'm really having a great time. Thank you guys for checking things out. If you've been seeing some of the other stuff I've been putting out on YouTube, so far YouTube, TikTok. I'm getting my Facebook online, and and podcast audio stuff. Audio people, if you only listen on audio, this is probably going to come out a little bit later. Since I was last uploading stuff, the podcast wars have kicked off, so it was really seamless for me to upload audio content in the past, but now it's a little bit more complicated, and I have a few more hoops I got to jump through, and I'm just trying to get it figured out now. So I wasted like a half an hour trying to upload stuff and testing stuff, and I realized like, oh yeah, they changed it. Spotify and Apple and whoever else, they're not really playing nice with each other anymore. So I have to. It seems like I got to do everything manually or whatever, but whatever. I'll figure it out, and I'll bring it online. But for now, it seems like for the time being, the main place to find the widest variety of content is going to be on YouTube, and I'm going to just kind of number two is TikTok for now, which is a lot more short form content, and I'm going to spread it out from there. Yeah, I'm having a great time. It's really exciting. It's a small amount of views, but they're rising slowly. So thank you guys for that. I got a great show. I wanted to talk to you about that. There was something else. Oh yeah, I have to apologize for the previous video. I realized that because I'm using OBS, I'm using a different software. Oh yeah, I upgraded my systems. I upgraded my stuff. So I got in the past year, as I mentioned in the previous episode, when I was working on my project and things like that, I realized I needed a laptop with much more firepower. Pow, pow, bang, bang. So I kind of semi upgraded. I found a really nice secondhand MacBook with all the specs that I need. So I'm able to use better software. The downside of that is that I never used that software before, so my audio settings were a little bit off on the last one. So when I listened back to it, it was just like in one ear. So my bad about that. I think I got it right this time. We'll find out, fingers crossed, but it should be all good. So this episode, we have a few topics that I'm gonna get into. Again, I'm just gonna speed through it. Like I said in the previous episode, like I'd like to streamline the process a little bit more. Get in, get out, bang, 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 boom. You can see I'm doing movie reviews. I'm doing short form content, and other commentary and things like that. And I really, really like it. So that's gonna take up a bit more time. You also might notice I just kind of made a split second decision before recording that before I used to have an intro, and kind of a long intro, probably too long. That's wasted a lot of time editing the intro. Now I'm just gonna probably upload everything as is. So if there are any announcements or anything, links or anything like that, it'll just be in the comments for the video wherever you get it. So just especially for the podcast. So just check that. It just if you want to know what's going on. One more quick announcement. I also brainstorming, plotting, and scheming. Not scheming negatively, but thinking about how to really bring more value to anyone listening and following me. I got a couple really good ideas. I'm going to keep them under my invisible hat right now, but I got a couple really interesting ideas I'm looking forward to playing with over the next couple months. So it feels like I'm kind of going all in on this thing. So yeah. If I can, grow an audience the way that I think I hope I'll be able to. I don't need to be super big or anything like that. But, if I have like a core group of people who follow and respect what I say, then I'll have the leeway to start, introducing a lot more other things that I don't think other content creators in this space have really been doing that I've seen, and I think it'll be cool, mutually beneficial. I think it'll be some cool stuff that you might like. So of course, as that comes online, as things develop, I'll let you know. But right now, I'm just in the brainstorming, exploratory phase. But in the coming weeks, in the coming months, I really hope I'll be able to bring that to you. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So it's not like Patreon and stuff like. I'm not knocking Patreon, but I was talking to my mother-in-law, and I was saying like, explaining this. I was like, Patreon is not really for me. I wouldn't feel right doing Patreon. It's just not my personality. So I would want to do it a different way. And I think the approach that I have is a win-win-win for a lot of different people. So and it'll be fun. It'll be cool. Like try and do it in my own style, in a style that I think is appropriate for everyone. So we'll see. All right, let's get into it because my son's gonna come home and I gotta take him to soccer practice. Okay. Okay. So I was thinking about today, and our first topic is TV in Japan, right? And being on TV in Japan. So you might not know this if you come to Japan, but especially in the Tokyo area, I feel like it's really easy to be on TV here. Like I've been on TV 4 or 5 times since I've been in the country, and most of it's not like I was almost on a TV show. Uh, like I got scouted in the park with my wife and her friends about 10 years ago. Just they're doing most of the time it's interview based stuff or just like filler for not filler like video footage for a talk show or a game show or something like that. Is mostly so someone runs up on you with a microphone. In the past, they couldn't speak English, so they were just talking to you in Japanese and just like, oh, TV show, hey, say this. And I'm like, okay. And, I'm on my way to the Apple store, but whatever. And the second time, it was in the park. Yeah, when I really got scouted. They were doing interviews and they asked me to do an interview or like I guess it was a preliminary interview and they liked me, so they called me back into the TV station. And so I was in like about an hour long interview for a show, but the show wasn't really. I'm actually glad I wasn't on the show because it was kind of a really negative show. And it was just like about tell me what you hate about this country and what do you dislike about that country and what do you think about this. And I'm like, I was in more of a positive headspace at that time, so I'm like, it's not that bad, and Japan had those problems too, and so I wouldn't have been interesting on that type of show. I think I saw the show that they were doing at a later date, and yeah, it wasn't for me. I wouldn't have felt good about doing that type of stuff. So there's a lot of yelling and accusations in a kind of humorous way, but still like, nah. So this time around, like the festival that I participated in the a few weeks ago, last month, when we were doing the festival, we were taking a break and just drinking beers and stuff like that. Some TV show people came up to me and this other American dude that I do it with, and by this time we're drunk and tired and a little bit crazy. So, and the other dude's got crazy too. He's a lot crazier than me. So they start interviewing us in Japanese, and we're just like, talk. I'm kind of like, what did I say? I kind of don't really remember what I said too much. We were just kind of like, asking us like difficult things, things that are scary about Japan or things that are scary, I think, about America, stuff like that. But they were talking to us for a good like 10-15 minutes, I think, just because we were kind of wild. We're two American dudes who can speak Japanese, so and we're both in like traditional festival garb, if you will. So it's not 100% sure if we'll be on TV, but I'm a little bit nervous about it because I really don't know what I said. I really don't remember what I said. I just remember we were yelling about some stuff and like arguing about some stuff. But it was fun, But when you come to Japan, like, if you're on TV, it's not really a big deal. I know a lot of people who are extras in TV shows and commercials and stuff like that. If you live here, especially in the beginning, some people do it, to make some spare cash. There's a really interesting, not off the top of my head, there's a really interesting documentary that I remember I saw a few years ago. I think it's called Big in Japan. If you want to Google that about a guy, his friends. My wife didn't like it. I was like, ugh, his friends kind of suck because they basically pushed this guy into trying to become famous in Japan, and he was doing TV commercials and stuff like that, and they do all this weird stuff, and they just hang out drinking beers, or recording him like just being tortured basically for for a couple years. It was interesting in a way, but a little bit sad in a way. But yeah, that documentary can really show you what it's like to go through the process of trying to be big in Japan or be famous or be on TV. There is, generally speaking, I'm not going to knock anybody's dreams. I got to keep your dreams alive. If you want to try and be famous, you can. But there generally is like a bit of a ceiling of how far you can go in the entertainment industry here. Of course, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, commercials, a few voice things, whoop de doo, and maybe that's about it, realistically speaking. So don't think just because you're in a commercial that you made it. You, just because I might be on TV, I'm not like, my 15 minutes of fame is here. I've had several 15 minutes of fame here, and it's really not a big deal at all. It's just interviews and stuff like that. Japanese people aren't really as hungry for the limelight, as I think I'll say Americans are. I don't know about every other country, but in America, we definitely crave the limelight. And Japanese people always laugh because like as soon as like someone's on the jumbotron or a big screen, they go crazy. In America, I'm like, yeah, we want to be famous, but in Japan, it's not really like that. And so, especially in the Tokyo area, if you're a foreign person, maybe you have an interesting look, or for whatever reason, don't be surprised if someone just wants to interview you. And again, don't get a big head about it. It's just like you're the foreign person in the area, and we need some footage. So get that guy or get those people. Like that's probably about it. As far as I take it. So your boy might be on TV again. Again, the third or fourth time, I kind of lose track. It's not really a big thing. I'll try to record it. If not, like somebody will be like, "Hey, I saw you on TV the other day," and that's normally how it goes. Again, I've never been on TV in the States, but it has happened several times in this country, which is kind of weird. So yeah, that's that about TV for me. So speaking of the media, we got to talk about something that's going on in Japanese political news in the Tokyo area. By the way, actually, so the Tokyo gubernatorial election is around the corner. I think it's next month or sometime really soon, and it's becoming a circus. It's becoming crazy because I gotta give you some background information. Like, basically, it's like two sides to this story. It's traditional politics side and the crazy politics side. So on the traditional politics side is kind of cut and dry. Like the incumbent governor Yuriko Koike. My brain just froze. I hope that's her name. I don't live in Tokyo, so whatever. I live in the suburbs of Tokyo. I live like just across the line. But so she's the incumbent governor. She's been governor for over 10 years. She got Tokyo through the Olympics and all that jazz. And another female politician, Len Ho, from one of the minor parties, like opposition parties, decided to jump into the race, and it was like, ooh, Ren-Ho is coming for Yuriko Koike. That's how I was at first, but that's being overshadowed by the massive amount of just regular people and weirdos that are just like signing up to be governor. Like, and it's kind of crazy. It all started, like, I gotta give you a little background. It all started because of the NHK party. So I forgot the original name of this political party, but basically it started, I think it was like around 10 years ago, 5 or 10 years ago. I remember when he started. So basically it was this dude. I forgot his name, but if you want to research, you can research it. It's this dude, and he didn't like NHK, which is kind of like the BBC or PBS in America, like public broadcasting network in Japan. And if you move to Japan, they'll knock on your door asking for money. There's no, at this point in time, there's no penalty for not paying, but they really try to get everyone. You're supposed to pay. We pay. We pay. Okay. uh, for NHK TV services. It's commercial free, public broadcasting, stuff like that. And so this guy was like, they're taking money, they're robbing the people, so we don't like. He doesn't like it. He didn't like it, so he started his own political party, um, protesting NHK. Now, the interesting thing, because NHK is public broadcasting, which I found hilarious, every political candidate for prime minister. I forgot if he was running for prime minister or governor. I forgot. It was a while ago. But anyway, the point is, every candidate has airtime on NHK. So I watched. It was hilarious to watch this guy get airtime on NHK and just trolling NHK. Like, these guys are greedy. They're taking your money. Like, I'm just like, wow, that's pretty meta. Like, so he, I can't even imagine what it was like for him, because he was in the NHK studio, so he had to walk in the NHK studio like, "What's up?" You know, you know. I mean, it's pretty gangster, right? So after the election, he got a seat in um the Diet, which is the parliament here. So he got a seat, and he started that party, and that party has become the 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 I don't know, like the breeding ground for like they just taking anybody, basically anybody who just either it seems like wants to be famous, wants to make a name for themselves, wants to make some money, they'll accept them in. So not all of the people are from the NHK party, but there are a large amount of like former idols and just like regular people, and people just and it started like a snowball effect. So now there are like people with copycat agendas who just like, hey, if it's just something niche, something that people think is kind of funny or interesting, I can just make a political party about it, and I can put my name out there. And the political process is just being made a mockery of right now. So it it goes a lot deeper than that. I won't get too deep into it because it just makes my head spin, and I'm just like, looking around like, what's this country going to be like in about 10, 15 years? Like, if you thought the American presidential race is crazy, you should see some of the stuff that I'm reading about and seeing on TV here. It's wild. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next few years, because of course, like the mainstream candidates are going to be the ones who win, but so much media coverage is coming from these just crazy okay, I'll just say crazy people. There's one guy, he's I'll get into it in a few minutes, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see, like, really what happens with the political process in Japan. My take on it is it's getting a little bit too wild, so they're going to start putting some type of restrictions or mandates on something, or the ability to block someone from running or something like that. They got to do something, because now it's like up to 56 people running for governor, and it's just wild. Like, if you do some research on it, you'll find out for yourself. But yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it's definitely gonna get crazier, and I'm here for it. Basically, I'm here for it. So that's that. So final thing I got for you guys, and I'm gonna get up out of here, is in line with this topic, because one of the big in the past few weeks, the big NHK party member who's made headlines over the past few weeks or week or so, is this guy called, I wrote his name down, Yusuke Kawai, right? So if you just type in Tokyo governor candidate Joker or something like that, it'll come up, right? But his name is Yusuke, Yusukekawai, and he's a guy who just wears like Joker face paint. I saw him with a mask, face paint, or whatever. He's in his 40s. Don't worry, it's not a young guy at all. But what happened was, like, a few days ago, I don't really know what he wants either. Like, sorry, 1 second. But you get like free advertising in boards outside. So like him in some adult star or some, I don't know who she is, but they made some posters with just like, it's basically her just naked and with a few, like, I don't know, things, not tassels, but like signs covering her vital parts, you know, and her just like spread eagle, like, you know, and they were putting them up because like each candidate has like a certain like square where they can put their posters, advertising themselves before the election, and they were putting those up, and apparently, like, you know, they got stopped, warned by that. So now I don't know exactly what it is. Just one of my students told me like some of the NHK people are selling their space on those like message boards. So one of them just had someone putting up the middle finger like all over the place, and I think like other maybe restaurants or services or something like that. Again, I haven't read too deep into it. I'm not trying to waste all my time reading that, but it's just you know, it is a crazy story. And you know, like I said, this type of situation, traditional Japanese people, traditional politicians, they're not, they're gonna do something about it over time. But one thing about Japan, like, things don't get changed over on the fly. So like, because the NHK party found this loophole, they're gonna, it can be completely exploited and nobody can say anything. Like, you know, in, for example, in America, you know, if there's a loophole and it's clearly not to the benefit of everyone, in the middle, people will stop it and like, okay, no, we're changing the rule right now because this is way too wild. But here, it doesn't really work like that. Like, so it has to be, it's like a whole formal process to do things. So I'm sure there's discussion happening now, and that process could take 6 months to a year or before the next election. And during that time, these guys are just running amok. Like, it's just crazy. So like, I don't really know what's gonna happen. I don't really know how long it'll take. I anticipate at some point in time there'll be more rules limiting the type of stuff, this type of behavior, because it is just crazy. But again, I don't have a horse in this race. I'm just a foreign dude living in this country, so it's kind of hilarious to me in a way. But yeah, if you do a little research on it, I'm sure you'll find some information, some articles about it. If you like, you know, if you search his name, it'll take you down the rabbit hole. So yeah, check it out if you want. I'm pretty much reached my fill. Okay, so let's stop it there, right? And that's about it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining me again. Again, like I said, please check me out on those other platforms. If you're watching this on one of those platforms, please remember to like, subscribe. I'm saying this at the end of the video, which I should not be doing. I should say I should say at the beginning. But you know, I'm still just getting warmed up, trying to do the whole content creator thing. Uh, yeah, that's about it. I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, well, I'll just tell you. Lots of movie reviews coming. Lots of TV show reviews coming. I'm really happy about that. I'm trying to, you know, put my own twang on it. So let's keep it rocking. All right, y'all. I'll holler at you next time. Peace.